right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Thrive's Community Conversations, where we talk to some of the most amazing people in Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, and Thrive DTSP who are moving the needle on what it means to invest in community and the success of where we are. So today we are talking to Keather Snyder. Welcome.
Thank you.
Keather is the president of the Omnia Group. And tell us your elevator pitch. What does the Omnia Group do?
Oh, gosh. First of all, just thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I love this community. So I'm like sitting here as you welcome me going, I'm really doing this. I'm really grateful.
You're really
so thank
doing
you.
it.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And like you're leaning into the whole podcast
Oh,
thing
yes.
too.
Yes. So
listen, this is all
great.
part of the vision.
Thank you. So Omnia Group.
Yes.
So have you ever made a wrong hire, or
I have.
Have you had a situation where you had conflict with someone that you were working with, maybe who reported to you, or
It's maybe happened once or twice.
Yeah, I think every leader can say that's the case, and that's what Omnia solves for. We've been in business for more than 40 years, and we celebrated our anniversary here, in fact.
Let's go. 40 years.
Yeah, a woman founded, based in Tampa, and what we developed, our founders developed their own proprietary instrument that measures behavioral traits. How is someone wired? How are they going to show up naturally under stress or even just with their friends over a beer, right? So what are their natural instincts when it comes to communication, problem solving, the way they want to approach their work, the way they respect and value rules or don't, all those things that make up and create conflict in the workforce. And our clients use us predominantly for hiring, for first selection and looking at the job responsibilities of a role.
Right.
And we create a benchmark and we help look at the person's behavioral traits to say, is there a fit with what they're going to do every single day? And will they enjoy it? Will they be happy? Because if you get to do every day what you're wired to do, you are more likely to be happy and you're more likely to be successful. And then they also use it for awareness and development because it's not just about hiring the person, but now you want to look at their whole life cycle from onboarding to maybe being promoted into something else or taking a lateral move.
Right.
So you can use those insights to coach and develop and create a career path for them and make informed decisions as a leader about where that person's going to always best fit.
I love that. And I'm sad because I wish that I and my team had gone through the assessment before you and I sat down. We'll have to have you back after we go through it, and we'll talk about things. I've always been a really open book about those things and my own strengths and my own weaknesses, and I think it would be fun to kind of revisit that. But anyway,
We'll do a part 2.
Clearly, Omnia Group is doing something right because 40 years is impressive for any company. But even more impressive is how long your executive team has been employed. So give me a quick rundown of the tenures of the upper management.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm the least tenured of the team. I joined in February of 2020, so I only have 6 years under my belt. But our founders, Heather Caswell's been there from the beginning. She and her husband founded the company. Their first hire was our CFO, Steve Rohr, who's now been there, I think he's going on 34 years.
34 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We have other employees we have another employee. He's now in our IT department, started as the receptionist, and he just celebrated 30 years.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yep. So, and then most of our customer success team are above 15, and almost all of them are approaching more like 20, 25. So we have people who have grown up in Omnia, taken very different responsibilities using the Omnia. Obviously, we believe in it, and we use it ourselves. So that's why I think we've got the tenure team that we have.
I mean, you're such a great test case and a great sales tool to say, hey, look at us. I mean, I literally don't know of another company that size that can boast people being at that company for that long. I love that. Just makes me so happy. When I was at your 40th anniversary celebration, I remember hearing that. I was just floored. I mean, I just thought that was the best story.
It's a source of pride for sure.
It should be. It should be. So talk to me a little bit about your customers. So what kind of businesses really get the most out of what you offer? And where do you all kind of fit in the whole landscape of what feels like an overwhelming number of tools and people and consultants that are kind of in this arena.
That's one of the complexities of the business, and I think for any business leader. And when I got there, when I got to Omnia, it's one of the things we started working on is what's our niche, what's our sweet spot, because we can serve any company that's got more than two people or two people. I've worked with two business partners who were creating a business together that used Omnia. So as long as there's a couple working together, that fits. So we have to choose all the time. What do we go after proactively and what do we respond to? There's not an industry we're not currently serving. It's
very cool.
It's really amazing. But when it comes to really thinking about where our sweet spot is and where, as we look at developing new business and growing and scaling, we've gotten very focused on where can we do our best work. So the first thing is really company size. We do really well in the small to mid-sized business market where companies don't have sophisticated HR systems yet, but have a real problem with their people. And so they're very keen, and they might not know about an Omnia, where lots of large companies now are already using assessments, and it's really hard to unseat when that's happening. So I go after the tough business. We're proactively going after the market that is underserved. So
and
that's
it's affordable.
Yeah,
that's the thing that blows me away.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I just looking around when you kind of look at this consultant, that's consultant, different tools. I mean, the cost is prohibitive for a small business like ours, which we're a big business, but fundamentally we are technically a small business. And so that's the most impressive thing about your solution is we're talking an easy couple $100. We talked about assessments, right?
Yep.
That initial kind of broad brushstrokes, roughly what, $100?
Yeah, it's about $100 starting point, and then of course the more you buy, the less you pay.
That's doable.
Yeah,
for,
and that's
for
our
businesses.
focus. We want to be. We call it cost effective.
Right.
So and definitely value. We also, one of the things that differentiates us is we provide unlimited live customer support.
Amazing.
So you don't see that often either. But again, that's understanding the type of customer we're working with really appreciates, again, that a little bit of that hand-holding and understanding. So because when you hire someone, it's one conversation. Then when you're looking at a performance problem or you're getting ready to do their first review or you're looking at promotion, it's a different conversation. And we want to be with you through that whole journey. So and staying small allows us to do that. Staying with small clients allows us to have that personal touch, and we're really committed to that.
Well, and it seems so obvious, right? I mean, you're helping people make better decisions about people and cultivating people, and yet so many of the tools you see out there are not people helping you, right? Like, hey, fill this out. You may talk to a person or a chat bot, or it seems very counterintuitive if you're trying to cultivate those people. And obviously, I'm in the people business, so I always have a healthy respect for any business that understands that person to person contact is what can make a difference.
I love hearing you say that, and I hope we continue to value that.
Me too. So we're going to talk about the future in a minute. Okay. But first I want to kind of probe your intelligence and your experience and what you've seen. Obviously, you yourself are a very high-achieving person. As I said, you're a get-shit-done kind of woman, which I love so much, as another get-shit-done woman. And you obviously are dealing with leaders who want to do better. They want to achieve more. They want to make sure their people are achieving more. So kind of in this whole universe, what are some common themes that you see? Where do you see some typical missteps of leaders who are high achieving, and what are some little opportunities they have for course correction when it comes to the people part of that?
Right. Well, I mean, your point about get shit done, having that drive, that ambition, that's what gets people in the leadership seat most often because they go for it. And I don't know about you, but even early on, I knew I wanted to be a leader. I knew I wanted to be in charge, but that was seen sometimes as too aggressive or she's so ambitious and all those things. So we fight that. So I think one big opportunity is to allow a leader to stop the fight and to build some self-awareness, because I don't know. I think everything starts with being able to be vulnerable, being able to make mistakes, to learn from mistakes. And to do that, you got to have self-reflection. You've got to look at, what did I contribute to that? So I think that's the biggest opportunity I see in leaders. And I can recognize armor immediately if I'm dealing with a leader
Right.
that has that armor,
Right.
that guard. And
Right.
so you got to kind of cut through the guard and allow them space and time to think about, who am I really and how do
Right.
I show up?
And it's hard.
It
It's hard
is.
on a lot of levels, because there is an argument as well for needing to sometimes be a leader and come across as very confident. Especially if your company, if your organization is going through a tough time, your people need to perceive you as strong.
Yeah.
And I've got this figured out. Nobody worry. We're good. And kind of balancing that with also some vulnerability of, when is it okay to say, boy, I messed that up. That was not how that should have gone. Let's figure this out. Let's put our heads down and making it okay, and giving your team permission to stumble and fail, right? You and I talked about that earlier today too.
Exactly.
It is, I think there's a lot of fear, not just among leaders, but amongst employees too, of, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to admit I messed this up.
Right.
Whereas I think most good leaders welcome failure as a learning opportunity to shift gears and, well, holy cow, let's not do that again.
Yep.
So it's an interesting journey. I think being a leader these days is harder than it's ever been.
I agree. And it's lonely.
It is
That's
so
the other thing.
lonely.
It's so lonely.
Gosh.
And it's one of the things I've enjoyed about being part of this community and doing some of the things I'm doing now, is to just have time with other leaders.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things you can't say and share when you're the
100%.
one in the top seat. There are studies, though, that say the CEO especially does still feel like if they show empathy or have to express something that they don't know the answer to, they do see it as a sign of weakness. And that's a problem. So
That's
you got to
awful.
first find your community, your safe spot, maybe outside first, but then you got to build your team within, where you're able to get behind four walls and say, look, guys, I don't have the answer. And I shouldn't have all the answers. The people in the room are supposed to bring that synergy and the different background, experience, mindset, ideas, traits, all the things to it. So the CEO can't have all the answers, and they're never going to have a great, thriving business.
Right. And if they do, there's something wrong, right?
So I think, again, realizing that.
Yeah.
But that's hard, because what
hard.
got you there
Yep.
is usually different than what's going to keep you there and help you keep thriving.
I had
Pun intended.
Right. I had a boss one time who told me something that absolutely gutted me. I mean, this was a long time ago, decades ago. And he said to me, sometimes your greatest strengths are also your weakness.
Right.
And it was such a gut punch, right? Because when I really sat back and I thought about it, it was like, oh, that is so profound.
Yeah.
And you just gave a perfect example, right? That drive, that vision, that unrelenting commitment to a path that a CEO has to have, that dedication to really accomplish something amazing and grow and achieve, also can make those same people really rooted in being stubborn and not seeing another path forward, right? So how to balance those things.
I so want to share something, because how long ago was that?
Oh, decades.
Right?
More than 2.
Yeah. So you just brought up for me a powerful experience. In my first real job, corporate job, I got my first performance review.
Yeah.
And one of the traits that Omnia measures is level of assertiveness, which, again, assertiveness is needed in certain roles. Leadership, we definitely need assertiveness in leadership. And it's needed in sales. It's needed in many, many professional formats where the person has to have that take charge, right? And my family always my grandma used to say, Keather's not going to wait for her ship to come in. She's going to swim out to meet it. So that was that drive in my family behind me. But my first performance review, she started, and I could tell. I knew immediately I'm in trouble. And she goes, Keather, the problem with you is you're overconfident. And Brooke, I didn't even know what that meant. Like, is that a problem?
You're like, thanks.
I've been
Wait.
complimented and driven my whole life by my family on my confidence.
Yeah.
And thankfully, she broke it down. And I will tell you, I didn't accept it that day very well, but it stayed with me. And even when I took my Omnia, I realized that was that conversation. But she did help me see the effect, the impact my overconfidence was having. She had observed me with clients. I was doing point of sale system training with clients, and she shared with me how my overconfidence was like overbearing to help the client get ready for what they needed to do. With my teammates, I spoke up in meetings. I was the first to speak. I was right. And so other people wouldn't contribute. She really helped me see these blind spots, which, again, is what Omnia does now in a much more softer way. I don't think she necessarily delivered it the best. But, man, did it stick with me. Like, And that is, it's just what you said. It's a strength and a weakness. And you have to be aware of those, and you have to have the emotional intelligence to keep it in check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I love this topic so much. Actually, going into next month, August, we are really in Thrive leaning hard into some of these topics. So you're going to be hosting a lunch and learn. I'm so excited about that. I know our people are excited about that. And we're doing something a little bit different in August, in that we've really locked in on this theme of, okay, it's August, fall is almost here, like the end of 2026 is looming large. What can we do? We're going to get you fired up. We're going to get you skilled up. We're going to give you the accountability, the connection, the support to rock out those goals for the rest of the year.
Awesome.
So you're doing a lunch and learn. We have 2 others that are talking about goal setting, accountability, leadership development.
Perfect.
And then I'm so excited because you brought it up and I haven't even had a chance to tell you about this. One of our other amazing members, Alicia Doxson, who was just on our podcast, is starting a strategy business leaders strategy roundtable.
Perfect.
It's exactly what you were talking about. This is being not away from your employees, your customers, your managers, and just being around those same lonely leaders who are going through the same stuff you are, right?
Yeah. That's fantastic. I'm excited to hear that.
Oh my gosh. So we'll have to keep you looped in on, I think that's towards the end of the month.
Great.
And I really hope that gets some traction and continues on, because I don't know that people understand how lonely that world is. And I sense that I deal a lot with tech companies too. I sense that a lot of tech founders feel a lot of shame around that I'm really lonely, I'm really scared, I'm broken. What's wrong? There's something wrong with me. Not understanding that literally every other person in that position also feels lonely and scared and doesn't know who to trust and who to talk to. So,
well, just the fact that you're in a room where you've heard people say that and admit that is huge. Because the other thing I've seen in some of these peer networks is everybody's still peacocking in the room.
Yep.
Because they're there maybe for different reasons or don't want to, again, show that brokenness or vulnerability. So to create the space where people feel comfortable and can really do that is magical.
Yep. And
I'm excited.
So part of our involvement and when we have our members step up and say, hey, I want to lead this session, we collaborate, right? We kind of go with them and say, all right, how is this going to fit the needs of our members, and how are we going to collectively achieve what we want to out of this session for our members, for the person performing it, and also for Thrive. You know, we want all of we want that to be universal success. You'll appreciate this too. When I hosted public speaking practice, we've done that before. We're kind of reimagining it, and I first session laid out the expectations, and this is how every public speaking practice will go: is that we go through this. These are the rules, and the first rule was you are not allowed to be perfect. That is not permitted.
Right.
So you're going to get kicked out because then you don't need practice, right?
Right.
So really kind of stating from the get-go, this is a safe space. This is about getting better and exercising and getting feedback from people who love you and care about you. And how great is it we have this built-in community here at Thrive.
Yes.
That there's already that level of trust. Like, okay, you're one of me, right? You're part of my tribe, and I know I can trust you because you wear the Thrive colors. And
there is something about this space where I felt like the moment I walked in that people show up authentic.
Yeah,
and it was unique. I felt it immediately when I walked in the door. So
Thank you
that's
for
what
saying
creates
that.
that. Yeah.
It's been a really big part of our intention as we've grown, and my intention, right? How do we make it feel like a place that people feel comfortable and welcome, and also that they see somebody like them, right?
Yep.
We have all kinds of people. We have people just starting in their careers, people who are starting their fifth company, people who've never had owned a company, people who've always had remote jobs, people who've like gone all over the place, right? Creative people, young people, old people, serious people, science people, and a little bit of everything mixed in.
Right.
But I think that's part two of when you have all different types of people, it's a little bit easier to not compare yourself.
Yes, that's really a good point. Yeah.
Right?
Because all of a sudden there's so much diversity.
Right.
And
So, if you're a tech founder and you walk into a co-working space with other tech founders, there is a lot of value there, right? Because those people really are on the same journey as you. On the other hand, there probably is a little element of that performative guarding, right? Like, oh, these people are so successful. I'm not there yet. I should be, right?
that dang imposter syndrome starts coming in immediately.
It does. But hopefully we don't have that here.
No, because there's so many different, like you said, different careers, different companies, different journeys being represented. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And you don't, if you're a graphic designer, you don't have to compete with the arts nonprofit, right? Like we're all here just hustling and on the grind every day.
That's
so
really cool. I hadn't thought about that, but you're absolutely right. That is part of what makes this really unique.
Yeah. And we really did plan it that way.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That was not accidental. But like all great things, when you sort of plant that seed, you have to cultivate it quite a bit at the beginning. But now this community attracts the right people on its own, and I don't have to be intentional about that.
That's great.
I've created the base of the community attracting like attracts like.
And it's cultivated it. It's absolutely right. But it is very much like we were talking about our niche. You were intentional about it.
Yep.
But it's grown into this just cycle that keeps evolving without you having to work so hard at making it happen.
Right.
It's great.
Right. And, that's the dream, right? With anybody, any of your clients that come to you, probably the underlying thing is, how can I just make this easier?
Yeah.
How can my life be easier? How can my employees be easier? Right? Like
nobody needs anything to be harder.
No. And so really kind of understanding how people tick, teams tick, how those gear mechanisms fit in together, for going forward. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to do this.
Me too.
So let's switch gears for a minute and let's come back and talk about Omnia Group, because I sort of alluded to this. There is so much noise out there in the marketplace right now about 90/11 personality tests that you can get for free online, and there seems to be consultants popping up every time I open my LinkedIn who seem to specialize in this stuff, and the dreaded word AI, right? So I'm going to kind of set you up because I think I know where this is going, but what I've seen, and especially with a lot of businesses here in Thrive, whatever industry they're in, the ones that are continuing to be successful and are growing right now, when the alarms of doom and gloom, AI is going to kill everything, the companies that are doing well have adopted AI quickly and early and are learning it inside and out so that they can be an asset to their existing customers, and make sure that they're coming with a value proposition to their customers so that the customer's like, well, I don't need you anymore. I've got it, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. So talk to me about how Omnia Group is embracing AI and what the future looks like for the company.
Great question. We just did a podcast on this topic, and one of the other things about Omnia, we do a lot of thought leadership. We publish blogs, we produce webinars, events, workshops, all these things. And one of the things that we believe in is we don't just talk it, we make sure we're walking it. So that's why we've been doing what we're doing, because we've been on an AI journey, and that's what I would call it. It's a journey. We were talking earlier this morning about iterating and being agile and making mistakes. And the problem with AI that I think is causing some of the things you said about the companies that are doing well or not is that fear of it, right? And we were there. I told the story on our podcast. My colleague is a early adopter of AI, and when she found it on TikTok, she was so excited, and she called me up on a Friday afternoon to show me what it was and what she had done. And my immediate reaction was, "Oh my God, like I don't like that. That's ick." That was I'm not proud of that reaction, but it was. It was like I saw it as a threat. I saw it as if that's a word, unauthentic. It didn't seem real. I was like, "No, you got to write your own stuff. You don't want somebody else writing it for you." And she was like, "Keather, we're going to have this conversation again, and I'm going to keep dabbling." And I encouraged her to dabble, but my immediate reaction wasn't great. It didn't take long. It came on fast, right? They say it's the fastest technology adoption we've ever had in our history. So it came on quickly, and I realized I had to get on the bandwagon. And then I realized Omnia had to get on the bandwagon. And you mentioned something really important. Every day I learn of another provider out there that has an instrument, has a tool. And a lot of them are out there on the open market that are free and all that. So we've faced that challenge for years. But with the onset of AI, it's getting even more so. Right. So we have ways of addressing that to differentiate what we do. So we could park that and talk about it. But what we chose to do with AI is to embrace it because we knew I was going to have Tanya's out there using it without much control or security. So, and we were also talking about career path and learning and personalities and all the things and saying, you got to bring your people along with you. So I found through my network a small business consultant who was early adopter of AI and had created a business to help small businesses implement it. So he came in, he did a self-assessment of Omnia. He interviewed all of our employees to learn their readiness. He learned all about Omnia and learning styles, gave us a plan that included all this of like, these are going to be your challenges, these are your opportunities. He addressed where we had our biggest opportunities to put AI in to elevate our business and our people.
Right.
So, and then we rolled out a very customized learning plan while we put together an AI policy. We decided which one we were going to use. Now we'll start using multiple, honestly. That's a whole other part of the journey. But we adopted one. We trained everybody on it. He did one-on-one personalized trainings in the safe space of learning, and then he did group sessions for us. And it took 90 days, and it is incredible where we've come and what we're doing. And it's almost taking up our life now because there's so many things we're finding we can do to add more value to our clients, do our work more effectively, more efficiently. We're having fun with it.
Good.
So that's where we are on the journey. And again, that first reaction wasn't good, but thankfully we came along pretty quickly. And there were a few others with my response to it, Omnia, that saw it more as the threat instead of the opportunity. So we had to come along together with it.
Well, I think it's not surprising, right? You're in the people business.
Yeah, right?
I'm in the people business. And
we don't even have a chat bot. When you go onto our website today and you enter a question in the chat, you're going to get one of our people behind it. So yeah, we are very much that human touch.
Right. It's important.
Right.
And I'm honestly already seeing the pendulum swing. In here we are in close to August 2026. Really, this has been a thing for only about a year-ish, right? And so we've seen the mass firings and people, especially large companies.
Yes, I've had friends affected who got trained and then got fired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then said, we're going to get rid of the people. We don't need the people. But I'm already seeing now the realization, that was a bad idea.
Right.
It's ultimately, at least for now, we still need people.
Right.
And we especially need people when you're dealing with people.
Yes.
I just don't think a robot is going to ever be able to, or AI is ever going to be able to replicate what your company and what Omnia Group brings to a small business as far as truly understanding people, because we're weird and unpredictable and don't fit into easy boxes.
It's exactly it. I mean, we do have science and science behind it all, but yet it's the people that bring it to life and help with experience and background and all that expertise that you're right. AI is not ever going to be able, I don't think, to be able to do those two pieces, but I hate to say that and go on record. 'Cause
Right. Well,
it
like I
is
said,
definitely
that's right.
evolving every day.
August 2026
Yeah.
is where we are today. So let's talk a little bit about St. Petersburg. So I know you are a Tampa gal, and I have been so impressed, though, to really see how you've been leaning into St. Pete and our culture and our community. What are some parts of our city that just really make you feel excited and engaged to be part of what we're doing here and make it better?
Okay, so that's so funny you said I'm a Tampa gal. I don't see myself that way. I see myself as a St. Pete gal.
Okay, well,
So
good.
cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I was in South Tampa for 30 years.
Wow.
Working there, raised our kids there, but we spent most of our time over here.
Nice.
And so when the kids left the nest, we decided we were going to make the transfer over to St. Pete. So we moved here 4 years ago, personally. And it was everything, sometimes you go somewhere and then it's not what you thought it was going to be, but it's been even more than what we hoped for and thought it would be.
Oh, fantastic.
So, and you're right, thank you for noticing, but I have really tried to lean in to the community. I really wanted to build a network of peers first on the business side. That was the other thing. I made more friends in the year I was here in my neighborhood than I had made in 20.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just so much more I feel like a social front porch, outdoor friendly community. So that helped us on the personal front, but I had to be more intentional on the business front. And I would even say my target market probably isn't so much in St. Pete as it is in Tampa. So I spend a lot of time doing business in Tampa, and I spend more time doing community in St. Pete. And
I
that's
love
what
that.
I've really enjoyed. I've gotten involved very much in the chamber, as you know.
Right.
I've joined 2 of the advocacy groups. I care deeply about transportation, especially driving that bridge every day.
I bet.
Poor Brad at PTSA, I ask him every single day, when are we getting our ferry back? So I care
know.
deeply about that. I go to those policy meetings. But then I also care about drawing businesses here and helping our workforce thrive. So I've really leaned into that. And now I've joined Community Builders,
Yep.
which I have just enjoyed meeting different people that care about this whole community as a whole and as a system.
Right.
And how we can all help each other with the levers thriving. So I'm just having a ball with
I can tell.
everything.
I can tell you're having a ball because I see you at these things and you just you're glowing and happy. And I can tell that you're like, oh yeah, these are my people.
Yes.
I feel so energized
For
by
sure.
that.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'm a St. Pete gal.
Right. Oh, and so what do you see as far as the future of St. Petersburg, and what can you add personally and professionally to our community as we continue to grow?
Well, it's so interesting, and I spend a lot of time thinking about this because what makes St. Pete so special and unique could also hold us back from growth and
Our strengths being also our weaknesses.
Exactly. So I think, and I love it because we do hold on to this small community feel, and yet we do have to attract larger businesses here.
We have to.
We've got to fill those big penthouses and those condos we've built, and yet keep this community unique and helpful, and I don't know, that social aspect. So I don't know that I have the answers, but I do bring big picture thinking. I can see things and how they connect and what we need to work on. And so I haven't had an opportunity yet to dive in, but I think there's going to be an intersection of a place where I can help with some of that.
Oh,
I
girl,
hope. And that's why I just keep showing up.
I have so many ideas of where to plug you in.
Good.
Because we're at a real inflection point here.
We really are.
We need people like you that can see that bigger picture. I think you're absolutely right. You made a really astute observation about this community, that there is a push and pull between people who don't want anything to change and people who want everything to change.
Right.
And it can't be either of those, right? There has to be a balance between the two, and it's how do we navigate those waters? And it needs to navigate that needs people like you who understand community and business and growth and culture. just the same way you would approach a growing company,
Yep,
right?
yep.
That you've got to maintain that culture. You can't not grow.
You have to be intentional about it.
You have to be
Yep.
intentional, right?
Yep.
And you have to get the buy-in of all the people in any ecosystem that things are going to change, are going to look a little bit different. You might have been doing these 10 things, now you're going to be doing 2. Let's make sure the 2 are things that you're really great at.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
bring you a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Always those things as you see the journey of growth. It can be bumpy and amazing and beautiful and horrible.
Yeah. But again, one of the things that makes us so special, and I've seen it, is how many people are involved, committed in this community who care. And so what I've just spent my time doing the last couple of years, which you've seen, is I'm just trying to learn and meet the people making the decisions, understanding the thought processes behind them, and looking at these opportunities for growth and hoping that I do get plugged into a place where I can have an impact. So, but I'm having a really good time just learning and listening and meeting people right now. It's been great.
That's amazing. Well, what is one thing that Thrive can do for Omnia Group and for you individually to help you continue to connect and to grow not only with the business community, but just with the broader St. Petersburg community?
That's a great question because I feel like you've done it from the moment I walked in the door.
Oh.
First of all, it was community. We went 100% remote in late 2021. We made the decision, closed our office in 22, and that's when I made the move. And I realized personally I wasn't prepared to work at home all day long. So I needed community. I needed social connection. So that's what I started looking for and clearly found here. And then that leadership connection, that opportunities. So I love when you do events. What you just talked about for August, I didn't even know. I talked to Sarah about doing my session, but I had no idea it was connected again to a larger systemic event and timed event you're doing because of August. It's perfect.
Right.
So I need more of that.
Good.
I need reasons to get here. I don't always show. I'll go weeks before I come back. And then it might be just because I had to have a meeting here or something drew me in. So activities and events bring me back. I can get pretty wrapped up in
we're going to keep doing
the other things, but that really helps. I love Wednesday wine nights.
Yes,
and
I know.
I'm not, believe it or not, I'm very social, but I'm not a great networker. So I don't like going and having small talk.
I do not believe
I swear, I don't enjoy small talk that isn't authentic.
Okay, that's fair.
So when there's an event where this is why some of the things you've seen me go to, it's because there's a topic and you've got combined interest in the topic.
Right.
And so now all of a sudden you've got a real conversation happening because of what's drawn people there.
Right.
Those are the kinds of things I like going to versus a networking event where we're going to pass along leads or do the 3-minute round. Ick. That's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I love wine. I love learning. So have more wine nights.
Our wine Wednesdays are wild. I mean, people ask me, what do you do? What's it like? And I tell them I literally could not tell you because sometimes it's 3 people, sometimes it's 20. Sometimes
it's never been the same.
We are talking about the dumbest games we played when we were kids. Sometimes we're talking about world peace and the similarities in religions,
right.
and sometimes we're talking about politics, and sometimes we're talking about Love Island. Like it could be, you never know what you're going to get, and I think that's part of the fabulousness of it, and that's kind of what we're also trying to build here, right? Like you never know when those spontaneous conversations. So you need to come more.
I do.
Not just when there's an intentional gathering, but because you just never know when you're grabbing coffee and in the kitchen that you're going to strike up one of those spontaneous conversations. They happen every day. I get to witness this every day. It's amazing. So final thoughts, final words, anything else that you want the world and the community to know about Keather and about Omnia Group and about leadership and developing people to be their best selves?
I'm going to go back to the conversation we had about leaders. That's what struck me as we were talking about this and the experiences you and I both had with feedback and having to learn and be self-aware and recognize weaknesses are getting in the way of our success. I got a coach early on. I was very lucky to get that gift, and she's stayed in my life. She's still in my life. But one of the pieces of advice she gave me is she said, you have got to, she gave me a task. It wasn't advice. She gave me an assignment that I had to make a mistake. I had to make sure the mistake was visible, and I had to laugh about it with my team.
Oh my God, my throat is like clenching.
I know. And I'd have one a week. And of course, we make mistakes every day.
Right.
But I had to
One a
bring
week?
it visible. Yeah. We make a mistake every day.
Of course.
So it wasn't hard to have the mistake, but what was hard was making it visible and then the laughter. And she
Yes.
told me, she goes, you might have to fake the laughter. But she's like, you can fake it. I've watched you, turn it on and do what you need to do to, with customers and presentations. So make the laugh up, and then eventually you will learn to laugh and be more lighthearted about making mistakes. And that will make your whole team comfortable.
That is incredible advice that I am going to let that seep in and start using that. When we come back after I do our assessments, I'm gonna tell you how that's gone.
Okay,
I'll report
good.
back.
Yeah, I'll give you the task.
Okay, all right. Task challenge accepted.
But I think that's how we start as leaders, breaking down a little bit and learning, and again, showing that vulnerability and again, developing that self-awareness. So that's what I'll leave you with.
I love it. Keather, thank you so much for being here. It's been unbelievable. You make me so energized and excited about people and making people the best. You have the coolest job ever, and I can't wait to see the lunch and learn that you do in a couple of weeks. And we're going to come back and talk about all this stuff again.
Great. Thank
All
you.
right.
I feel the same way about you, Brooke. I'm
Oh.
energized every time I'm around you. And I, again, just loved this. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.